Well, we got a fantastic guest today on Let There Be Talk. I have been listening to this man's voice since the mid 70s. He is absolutely a legend, a rock and roll Hall of Famer, one of the greatest songwriters of hard rock. Welcome to the show, Mr. Lou Gramm. How are you, buddy?
Very well, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm out in Los Angeles. Where are you at?
Right now, I'm in Rochester, New York.
So you're still out there, huh?
Yeah.
Did you ever move to LA or anything in the 80s?
Um, I moved to Sarasota recently for the winter months. I've had enough of that wind and snow.
Yeah, I can't do it. I lived in Manhattan for 4 years, and when you born and raised in California, one day you just go, I'm out.
Right. It
Well,
goes right. It goes right through you, and the older you get, the tougher it is to take it.
yeah, yeah. I go a lot to Palm Springs and Joshua Tree, and you get the snowbirds out there.
Right.
I'm still at an age where that's just too hot for me, also.
Yes. There is the other extreme too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I got to tell you, it's an absolute honor to have you on. I think that, I sang for 25 years in a band, and I would say that you were one of the high water marks to me, and your voice and your songwriting has just been unbelievable. And I want to thank you first for doing the show.
Of course. My pleasure.
Now, I'm going to talk to you about something that is deep in my heart growing up in the Bay Area. And you had the chance to do three of these, and I'm talking about Day on the Greens.
Yes.
Now, do you remember the first one? Because I will read you the bill of the first one that you played.
Well, the first one was when Foreigner was a brand new band. As a matter of fact, we opened the show on Day on the Green.
Right, right, right. And then you come back, and the second one, here's the bill: AC/DC, Van Halen, Pat Travers, Foreigner, Aerosmith.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Come on, man. I mean, this. So 78's the first year I see AC/DC at Dan Green. About a month after this show, they come back again. But, these Dan the Greens, now the first time I see Foreigner is at the Foreigner 4-1. And then look at this bill. It's Iron Maiden, Scorpions, Loverboy, Foreigner. That's a crazy bill.
That's a crazy bill, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Now, do you remember these Day in the Greens like Bill Graham and how epic they were with the sceneries painted?
I certainly do. As a matter of fact, I got a good story, quick story for you.
Oh
On
yeah.
our first day on the green, we opened the show. We were in our dressing rooms at 6 in the morning. Okay. And I think the doors opened at 6:30 or 7, but by a quarter to 8, we were on stage.
Wow. Wha-
And so we didn't have a sound check, of course. And we were in our dressing rooms and Bill Graham walks into our dressing rooms and points to Mick and points to me and he says, "Come with me, guys." So we follow him and we go up on stage. All right. There's nobody in the place yet. And there's just last minute touches being done by the crew to make sure everything's ready. And he says he looks at his watch and we're looking at his watch at the second hand. It's going four, three, two, one, and you see all these huge doors go flying open, and people like a stampede of horses come running through those doors, trying to find the best spot where they want to sit and watch or stand and watch the show. And it was unbelievable to see that.
Oh my God. I mean, those things are the reason I'm alive, basically, because it just changed my life the first time I went to one. You just go and it's this whole day of rock and roll. And it was
Yes.
really before any time. Of course you had Woodstock and you had stuff like that, but this was every summer he would
Yep.
put these on. And when you think about the combo of course, Foreigner being an incredible hard rock band in the 70s. But by the time four comes, you do have some sax in the band, and you've got some ballads and stuff like that. And here's Iron Maiden on the Number of the Beast tour, Scorpions on the Blackout tour. So those two bands, and then Loverboy and you guys and people don't care. They love all rock at that time.
Yep. Well, and don't forget, in four we put out Urgent and Jukebox Hero in that album too.
Oh, of course, of course. I mean, those songs. When I was in 10th grade, they had an air band battle in the quad at my school, and I was
Cool.
crazy rock and roller. So these people asked me to do the guitar for Jukebox Hero. So I basically mimicked Angus Young playing in Foreigner.
How
And
funny.
and we won. But these were people that I never really talked to because I was an outsider wearing a leather jacket and stuff. And from that day on, I was kind of like a hero at school for the whole year, you know?
That's very cool.
Yeah. Now, when you start out, your first band, this is amazing. Of course, you get a record deal in your first band, Black Sheep, and you guys first band signed to Chrysalis, and you're touring with Kiss, and you get in this car crash, and the band gets dropped. You,
Well, it wasn't exactly like that. We
yeah,
we played Boston Boston Gardens. I think it was not the hockey thing. It was a venue for music,
right.
and we opened for Kiss, and we played our set and got a standing ovation. And we turned to Kiss's tour manager like, "What should we do? Should we leave the stage?" He says, "You got an ovation." He says, "Answer your ovation." So we played one more song, and the crowd went crazy again, and we walked off the stage, and we thanked them for letting us take the ovation. Then we watched Kiss, and they were great. They were great. And so then the guys in the band, we had a big Buick wagon, and we got into the Buick wagon. We started driving back to Rochester. It was Christmas Eve, 1975, and it was sleeting outside. So we got back around 4:30 in the morning, and I crawled into bed. And about 2 hours later, I got a call from our crew. And they said we slipped, we hit a patch of ice on the New York State Thruway. We slid off the thruway, and the truck with the equipment in it tipped over. I says, "Are you guys okay?" He says, "Well, we got a lot of bumps and bruises." He says, "But we're all right." She says, "The truck doesn't look good, and I don't know what the equipment looks like. I can't get the door open." So I says, "What's going on now?" He says, "Well, they just came to pick up the truck and put it on the flatbed, and they're taking it off the thruway to a gas station, and that's where we're going to be. Can you come and get us at 4:30 in the morning?"
Oh,
You know, I says, "Can't you catch a cab back to Rochester?" You know?
yeah.
So I called the bass player. We got back in the station wagon. We went up to pick them up, and it was in. Trying to think where it was. It was just outside of Albany that we picked them up, and we tried to jam the door open to see what the equipment looked like. We couldn't get it open. Anyways, the truck was parked in a gas station, and so everybody got to spend Christmas with their parents. However, the day after Christmas, we got back in the wagon and rode back to see what we could see about the truck, and they had gotten the door open, and the Hammond B3 had the legs ripped off it. Uh, um, the drums were smashed and out of round. They weren't round anymore. They were oblong like an egg. The mic stands and stuff like that went through the fabric of the amplifiers and took the speakers out of the Marshalls, and the Marshall heads were all thrown around and the tubes exploded and stuff. And so we had to call Kiss's tour manager and let them know that our truck was totaled, and I think we lost about 80% of our equipment, and we wouldn't be able to make the next show. He says, he says, you're on your second album with Capitol. He says, and you're touring with us. He says, we're on Capitol too. He says, tell them to pay for your truck and your equipment. You're going to make so much more money than that, out with us for a year. So I said, that makes sense to me. So I called Capitol Records and spoke to a woman I knew there and told her what happened. And she was, oh no, that's terrible. I says, but look, I says, we're supposed to be in Florida playing with Kiss again in 3 days. I says, can you guys front us some money so we can rent a truck and buy some cheap equipment and go out and play our shows like we should play? And she goes, that's right. She says, everybody's in a meeting now. I'll call you back in a little while. So about 2 hours later, she calls us back and she says, I told them what happened. And I says, what did they say? She says, that they felt sorry for us. And I says, what does that mean? She says, I'm afraid you're dropped from the label. I
Man,
said, are you kidding me?
that's insane.
So I had to call back Kiss's tour manager and told him what happened. And he goes, he says, this business sucks.
I
I
mean,
feel
that's just a
I feel
kick in the
bad for you.
nuts at
Yep.
the beginning of your career.
Yeah. And the first show with him, we got a standing O.
Unreal. You know what's weird though? Turns out to be a blessing in disguise for you. Isn't
Yes.
that crazy?
Yeah, because the guys in Black Sheep and I, after all that settled down, we used to meet once a month at our drummer's barn. He had a farm. We'd meet at the barn and we'd talk about should we get part-time jobs and buy some cheap equipment and start playing clubs again? What should we do? I hate to end it this way. And we are like, yeah, I don't know what to do. Because our parents couldn't help us. We were in a recession in 1985. You know, well, yeah, 1975.
Right.
And so that's about the time that my dad called me while I was in one of those Black Sheep meetings. And he said, some guy named Mick Jones called, wants you to call him back. So I told the guys that, and they go, what do you think he wants? I said, I have no idea. So I called Mick back, and he says, well, we had seen Spooky Tooth play at the Auditorium Theater in Rochester, and I brought the two Black Sheep albums with me. After the show, we went backstage and met them, and I gave the two Black Sheep albums to Mick, and I says, "This is what my band's all about. Hope you enjoy it." So he called back and says, "I listened to the albums. They were very good." He says, "You've got a heck of a voice. Would you come and audition for my new band?" And I says, "I'd like to." I says, but I'm still loyal to the band I got. I'm trying to work things out. I says, so I don't know how I feel about just leaving them up and leaving them like that. He goes, I'll call you back in a couple of weeks, try and work some things out and see what the guys say. So I told the guys in the Black Sheep that he wants me to come on audition. I says, what did you? He said, what did you say? I told him no. He says, go. They said, Lou, get on the plane and go audition for him. This band is over. In case you don't know.
And then it's all history now.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Now, an interesting thing that I absolutely love about your voice is, the 70s, we had like Brad Delp, we had Robert Plant, we had Paul
Yep.
Rogers, and we have you all over the radio dial. All of you guys sound totally different and super original. So when you were growing up and becoming a singer, who were your guys?
John Lennon
Oh, yeah.
and Steve Winwood
Oh, wow.
and Paul Rogers
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Steve Marriott too,
Oh, yeah.
from
Yeah.
Humble Pie. Yep, those were my favorites.
I mean, your voice is absolutely electric. When you start singing, is it pretty much just natural? This is you, or were you taking some lessons? Did you start to form it over the years? How did that all come about?
Well, just before the band started touring, I took a couple lessons, not so much to sing better, but to teach me breathing exercises before the show, so I could warm up my voice and get my lungs to expand to their fullest.
Right. And longevity. That's what I always took
That's correct.
for
Yes.
being able to sing. I mean, once a band like Foreigner hits, the workload is unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah,
I was looking at the AC/DC Back in Black tour dates, and these guys were playing six on, one off. That is insane for a guy that's screaming like Brian Johnson, you know?
I could never do that. Could never do it.
Yeah,
The best I could do was three in a row,
three in a row.
and that was tough.
So you get together with Mick Jones. What's the first song you guys write together?
Long way from home.
Wow.
About a small town, Rochester, New York. Left the small town for the Apple in Decay. When I say the Apple in Decay, when I got to New York for the first time to audition, there was a garbage strike going on,
Oh, yeah.
and the garbage was piled halfway up the side of these massive buildings, and the whole city stunk to high heaven. And there were mice and rats crawling around right out in the open.
It was insane, that 70s garbage strike. And
Yep.
also 70s New York was so, I mean, it's basically like Taxi Driver, like, you know, Harlem and Brooklyn and all that. They looked like war zones,
Yes, they did.
apocalyptic.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really bizarre when you see photos of New York just in the 70s. You're like, wow. I mean, it's destroyed. Now, the
Well,
first,
the mafia was big then too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, when the first record comes out, I just want to read this to the listeners just because I am so baffled by now, even though Foreigner is big, and my good friend Josh Homme and I, we talk Foreigner, and he was a big rooter for Foreigner getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And, even though Foreigner had all these hits, 80 million records sold and everything. To me, I feel like it's still so underrated. It's really bizarre to me. The songwriting, though, look, it feels like the first time, cold as ice, um, head rocker, head knocker, long, long way from home, star rider. I mean, just that record has more
Yes,
songs than most bands have in a career.
you could be right about that.
Yeah, I mean, the chemistry between the two of you is mind-boggling. I wanted to ask you this too. How did you decide on if somebody else sang a song like, Star Rider, or, when you weren't the lead singer on the song? How did that happen?
Well, most of the time I understood that I was going to be the singer. If it was
Right.
a song that was special to Mick and he wanted to sing it, he just let me know, and I was fine with that.
Yeah, like I've waited so long.
Yeah, yeah, it's a nice song.
That's a full Beatles sounding song.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. Some of the riffs also is really what makes this band so incredible. Just crazy rock riffs.
Yep, Mick is the best riff rock guitarist I've ever played with.
It's so true, right? I mean,
Yes,
I was listening to Lonely Children. Just that riff alone is so great.
it's awesome.
I remember my mom was single, mother raising me, and we didn't have money and stuff. And I remember one day she had a little extra money, and she pulled up to the record store and she goes, I'm gonna let you buy a record today. And we went in and I got Head Games. And I never forgot it, like it was like, 5.99 final.
That's a good buy.
Oh my God. Yeah. Talk about your money's worth. Look at this one. Dirty White Boy, Love on the Telephone, Women, Head Games. And I love the deep tracks of Foreigner, like Rev the Red Line.
Yes.
Rev on the Red Line. It's
Yep.
so good.
That's about drag racing.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we have a big anniversary of the Foreigner 4 record. And
Yes.
it's really interesting that you guys are going on and you've got all these hit records, and then you strip it down, two guys leave, and you go into the studio with Mutt Lange. Now I'm trying to get the timeline of this. Is this right after Highway to Hell for Mutt?
Yes,
And High and Dry, that's done also, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, right. So how do you guys choose him? And what was that process?
Well, we paid attention to who else he produced, and paid attention to his sound and his production style. You can kind of pick that out if you listen hard enough. And we made some calls to see if he'd be interested in working with us, and he was, but he had to finish one of the AC/DC albums, and he says he's a little over half done, so it would be a few months before he can come and see us. It was actually 6 months before he got to New York.
Yeah, because that was probably Back in Black.
I
It,
think it was.
yeah, right. So when you look at it, it's Highway to Hell, Back in Black, High and Dry, Def Leppard, then Foreigner 4, and then Pyromania Hysteria.
Right.
So what an insane run. So when you get to Electric Ladyland, you have no idea of his recording process, but this is probably right when he turns into a full, deep dive of long recording process. Like 2 years, right?
Yes, it was.
That had to be brutal. Like, what were you guys doing in those 2 years?
Well, I know that I lived out of Manhattan. I lived in Westchester County. My ride was an hour and a half each way. And once you start staying up till 3 or 4 in the morning and driving home, getting home at 5:30 in the morning, trying to get to sleep after a full day and night in the studio, drinking and doing everything else there was to do. It was hell to be home trying to rest and you couldn't rest. And knowing that in less than 6 hours you had to be on the road back into Manhattan.
Man. And and is he just like putting everything under a fine-tooth comb, like word for word when you're singing? Is he going
Yes.
crazy over different? Because this super box set coming out, which we'll dive into what's on there, has all kinds of extra bonus extras, different versions and early demos and all
Yep.
that. So do you start out with Mutt? Are you guys demoing and then start to go into recording the record?
I think that we were demoing before we had a producer.
Right, right.
And then when we knew Mutt was coming, we still were demoing because he wasn't ready to come and work with us yet. He was still working on AC/DC. So by the time he showed up, we had, out of the 10 songs on the album, I bet you we had seven that were completely done. Of
Wow.
course, of course, we made some changes on him when he listened through to the demos and saw some points that could be better than what they were. But the basic songs, a lot of them were done already.
I mean, this is insane. This record, 10 million. It's at number one, I believe, for 10 weeks.
Yes.
And at the time, I don't think people understand how big Jukebox Hero was, and then Urgent, and then, of course, Waiting on a Girl Like You. And I mean, it was just, hit after hit after hit, and this record just kept going and going and going. Now, at any point were you guys looking at Mutt Lange like this guy's crazy? We got to get out of here?
Yes. Because he was a workaholic. And
Yeah,
we were workaholics, but he drove us farther than we wanted to go,
man.
than we could humanly go.
The mystique of that guy's insane too, right? Like he does no interviews. He disappears, marries Shania Twain, then disappears. And recently I heard he's going to do a band, but I mean, that was it. After that run of records, he's gone.
Yes.
Do you,
Well, then he came back and he did a few other things. I can't remember who, but he's not consistent, is he?
no, no. And also, I mean, the guy obviously has a magic touch, you know? I mean, the explosion of your record and Foreigner. And I was also thinking about it yesterday, listening to Foreigner. This is you know, the groundwork for Def Leppard. When you think about it, on Foreigner 4, he took all of that songwriting knowledge and sounds and went into Def Leppard with it.
Yes.
Now that tour kicks off. That's got to be pretty gnarly. You guys explode. Run me through that. It was a 2-year tour, right?
It was a 2-year tour, and it was nonstop.
Any voice problems like nodes or anything?
Not on that tour.
Not on that tour.
No, but I had nodes on one of the other tours.
Oh, what? Which tour?
I think it was Double Vision.
Wow. Now, did they laser them off? What went down with this?
They lasered them off. Yep.
And then what? No singing for 6 weeks?
It was less than 6 weeks, but it was difficult not to sing, and they didn't even want me talking really.
Right, right. And
And I got them lasered off in Munich.
in Europe?
Yeah,
Wow. And now
because that's where we were touring.
that's crazy. I always tell people they don't understand the pain of a node. It feels like a 50-pound weight on your throat.
Yes.
And then you wake up in the morning, you can't talk at all.
Nope, not at all.
Not at all. And then by the afternoon, it kind of works. And then you got to go on and sing again.
But I mean, usually there's a point where you can't sing a note.
Yes.
Can't sing a note, and you have to take 2-3 weeks off, at
Yeah.
least 2 or 3 weeks off to get any voice back at all.
Now, when you came back, was your voice better than ever?
Eventually, it was as good or better, but I don't know if the note itself had anything to do with it. Probably just because I was able to get the rest I needed.
Right.
I
Yeah.
had the rest,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
that voice would be gone forever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, look at Klaus from Scorpions. When they're getting ready to do Blackout album, he goes and gets surgery, and Don Dawkins sings on the demos. That's that. I mean, it's just crazy. The record company is like, nope, keep going. Got to keep going.
Yep.
Now, at what point do you and Mick just completely butt heads? Is it from the the next record? Is it you want to be hard rocking and he wants more ballads?
Yeah, that was a problem, and I believe because of the synthesizer work on Foreigner 4, he became obsessed with synthesizers. During the off time, he started buying synthesizers and having people who knew how to play them show him how to play them and stuff like that. And out of that came 3 or 4 big album uh, 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 um, ballad hits,
Right,
you
right.
know, and I think on the album after Foreigner 4, there were only 2 or 3 songs that he played guitar on.
Right. Yeah, when I saw you guys, he was playing keyboards.
Yep.
And I was like, and then look what happens with Van Halen. They got Jump and everybody kind of it turns into kind of MTV influenced keyboards and a lot of new wave was going on, Men at Work and all that with Moogs and Devo and all that stuff. It was bizarre to see people get away from guitar.
It was bizarre for a band like ours who achieved our success from guitar-based songs to turn our back on that and go to another form of rock that not only did I not even like, but did nothing but damage our reputation.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, back then you usually had one great ballad on your records.
And the rest of them were rock songs.
Right, right. And you know,
with
back
with maybe a mid-tempo song in there someplace.
right. And back then, if you had a good ballad, you could get the females to come to the gigs, and that
Yep,
really jolted the draw. But once you have too many on a record, then it just becomes a adult contemporary, you
that's
know?
correct. I was so upset about it, and Mick just brushed me off. He didn't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, after waiting for a girl like you, which I saw no problem with, the next preceding three albums, the first songs he'd work on were the ballads.
How about the rest of the songwriting credits? Did you get your due on that?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, good, good. Now, this box set is coming out. Let me get into it real quick because it's pretty monumental and it means a lot to me just because this record in this era was so amazing. But it's going to be it's Foreigner 4 Deluxe, and you're doing some dates to celebrate this. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah, I see the Capitol Theater, which is fantastic, two
Yep.
nights. You're doing Staten Island. It's all East Coast, no West Coast. Connecticut, Jersey, and Pennsylvania. How much of this are you going to sing on this tour? Now, I want to give you a heads up. At one time, about 20 years ago, Lewis played in my band on guitar.
Wow.
Yeah, which is interesting because he played for about a year in the band and then we went our separate ways. And he eventually played in Train with his brother and then
Yep.
left to become a guitar player in Foreigner. Now he is the singer. When I was young, Johnny Edwards joined Foreigner
I
from
remember that.
Northrop. Yeah, I was from the Bay Area, and this guy's like, I'm going to sing in Foreigner. I'm like, what? So it's been a scramble of players, but now you're kind of back and you come out and you do some songs. So what are you going to do on this tour?
I don't know yet,
You don't know.
and it won't be a lot of songs.
Right. Is that because of you vocally or their decision?
It's their decision.
Right.
They
Right.
they want me there. They want me to sing some big hits, but they don't want me to be that big of a part of it.
It's interesting. I've watched a lot of footage of you, and of course, you've had some ups and downs. You had the tumor, you had surgery, and the voice, and you're older now and everything. And those songs are very radical to sing. But I noticed in the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, when you do sing with Foreigner, you seem to have kind of gotten it back. Have you been working on it? Do you do like warm-ups and
I do warm-ups before every show I have for 35 or 40 years. I'm working with a vocal instructor now, and it's not so much to teach me things, other than to point out things that could be better if I would do things a slightly different way. You sing a lot, you fall into bad habits.
yeah.
And if you somebody can point them out to you without you getting pissed off, you can correct the bad habits and end up singing better longer instead of fading out to an AC/DC voice with three songs to go. You could still have your voice, your range, and everything, and finish the night strong. But you gotta do it the right way.
Yeah. Are you in-ear monitors?
Yes, I have been for years.
How great is that, right?
It's a godsend.
Oh my God. It really is, man. Back in the 70s, when you're trying to sing over the band and all you got is these side fills and it's 120 dB up there,
Yep.
that is nuts.
Yes, it is nuts.
What are some of your favorite all-time Foreigner songs?
Uh, Geez, there's a lot of them, really.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
of course. But I mean, is there some?
I liked feels like the first time. I like Cold as Ice, Double Vision, Head Games. I like Dirty White Boy.
Yeah.
I like a lot of them on the Foreigner 4 album. I liked Urgent. I like Jukebox. Oh, what are some of the other ones?
Women in Black. That
Woman in Black is an awesome song.
I think that song is so underrated.
Yes, I know.
It's just a smoker, man. When you listen to Foreigner 4, of course, people are just into the hits, but some of the deep tracks are mind-boggling, you know? Like, let me look at this real quick. I'm gonna win.
Yes,
That's a great song.
great song.
Oh my God, man. And then Women in Black, Girl on the Moon,
Yeah,
beautiful
it's
tune.
a very cool song.
It's kind of Sting, Police, kind of Ghost in the Machine era.
Yes, you're right.
Oh my God, so good. So there's going to be five unreleased songs, and I wanted to ask you about these. One is Fool If You Love Him, then Love So Much Better, Knockout Power, Don't Say No, and Jealous Lover. Um, those songs, you guys, how many songs did you record for Four and Four? Was it like 20 songs, or you just picked the ones?
I think it was not quite 20, but it was must have been in the 15 to 16
Right.
song area, and it wasn't that they were all finished and we picked the best ones. Some of them were really good, but they weren't finished, and we had a deadline to keep, so we couldn't go any farther on them. You know what I mean? We had to pick from the songs that were finished. So some of the songs that didn't make it on the album were great songs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so guess what we're doing now? We're going back to that time period and finishing them.
So you're going in and finishing them just in a studio. What wasn't done? Vocals or guitars or
It
mixing?
was a little of a lot of things, you
Right.
know.
Right. Yeah. You just
Maybe even everything was almost done, but the arrangement wasn't quite right.
right.
Whatever it was, we're going to make it a complete song and let the people hear it.
And who's producing on that?
I'm not sure.
Right. Right. And just you'll sing them at your house or you'll go into a studio.
In the studio. I've already done one already. I did Fool If You Love Him. I did that already.
Wow.
I think that's going to be out soon.
That's got to be exciting to go back and hear these songs on two
So
ends.
awesome. It's so awesome.
That's crazy, right? Is there any kind of little chatter, when you put the headphones on and you can hear like Mutt Lange going, oh yeah, the chatter on the board?
Yes, definitely. And my eyes light up and I suddenly go back to those days.
God, I could just imagine, man, just the magic of, Electric Ladyland and Mutt Lange and those songs you guys wrote. And just to be able to put headphones on and it's an instant time machine.
That's it. That's exactly right.
That's so great, man. Now, uh, I wanted to ask you, after this, is this going to be it for you with the Foreigner brand?
I don't know, but I know after this Foreigner Force segment, I have my own album coming out.
Oh, really? Let's talk
Yes.
about that. Awesome.
Okay. Yep.
What is it?
It's it's an album of songs that I've written that are almost in the same way that Foreigners do in Fool If You Love Me. When I did Ready or Not and Long Hard Look and the Shadow King album, we had 10 songs on each album, but we recorded 13 or 14, and some of them just weren't completely finished, but they were great songs. So I'm going back, just like Foreigner is doing, to look at some of those incomplete songs, finish them, and make a new album out of it.
Wow. Wow, man. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Now, how do you write songs? Do you play guitar?
I can play a little guitar, play a little keyboard, but I play drums
Wow.
and I sing. I wrote Jukebox Hero playing drums and singing.
Just back there with the beat, like,
The
gotta be
beat, my voice, and then when I was done with that, I had that recorded. Then I came over and put the music to it.
What
and
a
and then and then I brought it in and showed Mick.
That song is so amazing because it just paints a picture, man, It's the ultimate lyric, standing in the rain in a heavy downpour.
You know what the sin is? That was during MTV time, but there's no video of that song.
Unbelievable.
Yes,
It's perfect for a video.
it sure is.
God. You want to
Isn't that
talk?
sick? That's sick.
It's sick. That's a crime. That's a crime, you know? You want to talk a little bit about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Sure.
Um, of course, it was talking about crime that you guys weren't in for years, and Boston is still not in, which is unreal. And I believe
Yes.
Bad Company just got in.
Yep. They
When
should have been in years ago too.
Oh, it's lunacy, you can't put Def Leppard in before you put Foreigner in. I always say you can't put a band in before the band that influenced them, is in. It makes no sense that you put Nine Inch Nails in before you put in Gary Newman and the Cars and Kraftwerk.
Right.
So, you finally get in, and there was some real solid people going full on Instagram and TikTok, like Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age and Dave Grohl, and people were really rooting for you guys.
Yes.
Um,
It was awesome to see that.
it was unbelievable.
It did my heart so good. I had no reality that these people knew who we were, let alone liked us.
Oh, I'm telling you, man, people like the people that matter love Foreigner. I mean, love Foreigner. They understand songwriting, they understand production, and they understand, the grind that was Foreigner.
Yes.
So, how do you get the call and somebody calls you and says, you're in,
I said that we got the call to say we were nominated.
nominated, and then you don't know you're in until you go? Or,
Well, then they say there's 7 groups that are nominated. They're accepting 4, and you guys are in the number 5 slot.
what?
Yeah, and then you got to watch the voting,
Oh, yeah.
and then pretty soon you climb up to the number 4 spot, and then you fall down to the number 6. Then you climb up to number 3. And with 1 week left, I think we were tied with Ozzy for number 2. We ended up number 3, but we were in.
Well, what's interesting about that is they do the people's vote, and Fish got like 4 billion votes and they didn't go in. It makes
Do,
no
do, do,
sense.
do you want to know why?
I do.
I could tell you why.
I'm ready.
Because the votes from the board of directors count for so many more than a person's vote.
Right. Right.
You got to have so many million votes from people to offset what the board of directors vote.
Which is really the right there. You just described the problem with the music business.
Yes, that's right.
There's always these bands, and you go, they should have been huge. But there was somebody at a record company that had some kind of grudge against a band or whatever, and they just never made it. Or their A&R guy got fired right after they put the record out, and the other
Right.
people at the record company didn't like him, whatever.
Well, or how about bands that make it big but don't make it into the Hall of Fame?
It's all, I could name them all day long, I could name them all day long. Kraftwerk is one of my favorite
Yes.
groups. Devo, uh,
Yep.
you know, the Cars, all these bands. You just think about how
The
Boston.
Cars are not in the Hall of Fame?
I think they might be now, but there was years where you're
Yes.
looking at like 20 bands that dominated the radio, and you're going, "Hey man, without these bands, there would be no money to fund record companies." They've basically Foreigner, Boston, Like 'em or Love 'em, Ted Nugent, or whatever. All these bands funded these record companies for years and kept them afloat. It's wild. It's wild. So now, of course, the drama of performing at it, you know? and who's going to sing the songs and everything. It was kind of a blow, I think, to the audience and you, of course, right?
That I didn't get to sing a rock song.
Right, right.
I'm inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I sing a ballad,
Unbelievable.
which is a beautiful ballad, and I love Kelly Clarkson, and it came off fantastic. But I kept saying, okay, I'll sing that, but I want to sing a rock song too. Well, let us talk about it. And at the end, they said no.
Man, man, it's a crime. But I
Yes,
tell you
it
what,
is. Yes, it is a crime.
I am super happy that you are still alive. And I can't tell you how fired up I get when I see you roll out onto stage here and there. What kind of touring you going to be doing in 26? You going to be doing some touring?
Yeah, we're going to be doing some touring. I'm going to be promoting my new album,
That's great.
and we're going to be doing the songs we've been doing, which are from my solo albums and Shadow King, and some Foreigner songs too.
That's great.
Yep,
That's great. Are you coming to California, LA?
I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
Sure we will.
Okay. Now let me give everybody a heads up on this. This comes out the super box set you can pre-order right now. It's out September 12th on Rhino, which Rhino is just fantastic. These guys go all out when they do these super boxes. And and you can, like I said, and it comes, this is cool. It's got stereo remixes, it has Blu-ray, also alternative versions of different songs, early versions and demos. I like this demo. The name of what was it? Hold on, I wanted to get this. Like Jukebox Hero or something had a different name, right?
Take one guitar.
Yeah, 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 there it is. Yeah. And then vinyl. It's going to be full on vinyl. You can get
Yes.
and the digital deluxe stereo remix, full vinyl. So, and then a live tour 8182, full disc of that when you, I'm dying to hear that, because it's like a lot of Anaheim and a couple Germany, but a lot of the Anaheim show. Did they film any of the Foreigner 4 shows?
Oh, I'm sure they did. Yes.
Right, because that'd be great to see. What was the
I
sax
would think so
guy's
too.
name?
What's that?
What was that sax guy's name?
Mark Rivera.
Mark Rivera. I had somebody on the show. I'm trying to remember who it was, and they knew Mark real well. And I had a Foreigner 4 photo of all you guys at Day in the Green. He goes, "Oh, that's my friend, Mark Rivera." And he called him.
Awesome.
Hilarious.
Awesome.
Well, listen, thank you so much for doing the show.
Oh,
I
thank you. I really enjoyed this a lot.
Oh man, I absolutely, absolutely love your singing, your songwriting,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
and your music has just been fuel for me for years. And I hope to meet you one day.
Oh, that'll happen, I think. Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
I do think so. One last question. Who was the best opening band on that opened for you guys that gave you like a run for your money when you were touring?
Cheap Trick.
Oh yeah. You can't fuck with those guys. They come out and take names.
They do, but it was so much fun. They opened the show and they really pushed us.
Oh, it's so great. So great. Well, thank you so much. Oh, hey, one last question. Are you into comedy? You watch comedians at all?
Sure, I do.
Yeah, yeah. I do stand-up comedy
Oh,
now.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I've been doing it 16 years. I just released
Nice.
a special, but
Where could I see the special?
on YouTube, it's called 5836, and it was the first special ever filmed in a cave in Tennessee. I filmed it inside a cave.
Wow.
Yep.
5836, it's called?
Yeah, produced by the great Bill Burr.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Oh, please do, man. And get my info and email me and let's stay in touch.
Okay, you got it, man.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
All
Let's
right. I'll,
talk again. Bye
I'll
bye
talk
now.
again. See you later.
All right. Bye bye.